Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode here on ESGNet of ESGNet Presents Sports Gamer Soapbox Talk Podcast. This is episode number 7. Yes, we're behind. I believe this should be episode number 8, but if you guys remember from the previous episode, episode 6, I mentioned that I was on vacation, and I'm just trying to get myself back into the grind of things. And trying to get into producing videos on a more faster rate. I'm trying to work out a schedule here to work on. At the same time, trying to deal with hanging out with family and hanging out with friends, people I haven't seen for a while. Like I said, I had a nice trip in Central Missouri. I see my father's side of the family. I didn't get to see everybody I wanted to see, but for the most part, it was a good trip. And just trying to get back into routine and things, trying to get things ready for some videos. For a couple, we got some new series that I've been mentioning about, and I'll talk more about those towards the end of this. There will be a quick, update you want to say in this video here about the channel and what we're gonna do. But there will be an actual update video here later on. Sometime in the week. I don't know if this is going to be the same day as this comes out or whatever, but we're getting to a lot of things here on today's show. This week it's all about pro wrestling because there's been a lot of things on my mind here as of late regarding to the brand split. WWE announced back was a week or so ago that they're going to do a brand split, and everybody's been talking about this, and everyone's wondering, okay, how this is going to affect the fans, how it's going to affect the superstars, how this is going to affect with the titles, most importantly. And so we're going to talk about that. Also, we got some Extreme Rules talk, or Extreme Rules pay-per-view talk. We're going to talk about a little bit about that, the matches, how they turned out, what I liked, what I didn't like about them. And let me know down below in the comment section down there what you guys think. Also, give me some ideas for next week's show, as I got a few things I want to talk about next week, mainly a lot more pro wrestling, but we'll talk about other things besides pro wrestling. I almost feel like this is becoming a pro wrestling talk thing, but it's really supposed to be about sports in general, football, basketball, baseball, whatever. Those are usually my main 3, but mainly pro wrestling and baseball are the 2 I really like to talk about the most. Also, we're going to talk about Seth Rollins and John Cena returning back to the WWE. They recently made their appearances back on TV. And some people say it was too soon for John Cena to come back. Some people say it was right on time. I want to know from you guys what you guys think. And again, leave your comments and all that stuff down below in the description there, or down there in the comment section. Also, we got the reunion of the club. Still trying to get used to that name. Don't know if I like it, but so far it's growing on me. Also, Money in the Bank pay-per-view coming up. They've already announced a couple matches there. Of course, the big match between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns coming up. John Cena and AJ Styles, a dream match that I cannot wait to see, and I got a lot to talk about that. Also, this coming Wednesday, NXT Takeover, the end. What does this mean? Whose end is it? We'll find out and see all that here, talk about that, and get into more about that here on the show. So, first off, let's get to the first one, and let's talk about the huge news of the week. It was announced, I believe, not last Thursday, or not last Tuesday, but the Tuesday before. It was announced on WWE.com, also on their Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr, that there will be an official brand split between the 2 shows. Now, if you remember back, it was right towards the invasion, which would have been, I'm trying to think, it was my senior year of high school, so it would have been about 2002. That summer, I think, they did a brand split because they had an overload of superstars, titles. Of course, a lot of titles were being united. You had eventually you had the two biggest titles, the WWE title going against the World Heavyweight title, which was ran by WCW. Eventually led to the ECW title coming in the picture. So there were three big main titles. There was three big brands, with ECW finally coming in towards the end. I believe the end of 2002 going into 2003. Of course, we can talk about the WWE's version of the ECW product, but yeah, we don't even want to get into that. That's another video for another day. But yeah, the brand split to me, to me honestly, this is something I've been wanting to see come back. I was all excited about how they ended the brand split because I like seeing the way how WWE back in the day, it was really during the Attitude Period, and right now I'm actually watching it on the WWE Network right now. During the Attitude Era in 99 going to 2000, they did a great job of cross-promoting both the brands. Now, this is before they had the battle of the brands. You had, the red brand, of course, being Raw, the blue brand being SmackDown. Of course, you had Paul Heyman and Stephanie McMahon that ran SmackDown. You had Vince McMahon and, of course, Eric Bischoff, even Stone Cold on Raw. So you had clashes of brands. That was back. That was later on. But before that, there was actually, it was not even a battle of the brands, but it was just cross promoting the brands together with linear storylines that crossed over to both shows, even into their secondary show, their B-rated shows, which you see a lot of the jobbers and stuff like that. Your lower mid card guys on the roster doing their thing on Jacked and Heat and Metal and all that kind of stuff. Now, if you guys can remember those, you're old like I am, so you know what I'm talking about. If not, then yeah, you definitely got to check those out. Go on YouTube or something like that and check those videos out. They're great shows. They're pretty good shows. They usually come on late night. They were syndicated shows. They came on late night or early morning in some markets and whatnot. But for the most part, it was a good way how they did the cross promotion and stuff like that. And that's something I wish they would go back to in this current era right now. Hey, blah blah blah. Let's say John Cena and AJ Styles, for example, going at it. Well, we just now found out, after the commercial break or before after we went to break, it was announced by the GM or Stephanie or Shane, whoever, that these two men are going to face each other in a tag team match. You got AJ Styles and his buddies, Gallows and Anderson in a 6-man tag going against John Cena and the Usos. So you would, they would heavily promote that matchup to say, hey, you need to go over to, if you want to see this matchup, go over to wait till Thursday night or Friday night or whatever and watch it on SmackDown. And then vice versa, on SmackDown you would see the aftermath, you see that match and then you see an aftermath and someone did something and it would be this, just leave you in suspense, leave you like in a movie or something, like, okay, what just happened, what's going to happen next? Well, you got to stay tuned and watch, see what happens on Monday night on Raw. They don't do that anymore. And that's a crying shame. That, to me, I think it does a lot of disjustice, and it just takes away the value of what goes on with these storylines. Because, I've always said this in a lot of my videos here when we talk about pro wrestling. WWE has a bad reputation of just dropping a storyline when it gets really hot and just scrapping, oh, it's not working, we gotta get rid of it, let's move on to something else. Fans won't, WWE fans, they're not smart, they won't remember this. No, we do. And that's why you have people in the crowds making signs and people on the internet. Of course, they, that's their thing they hate the most, especially now with a lot more social media and platforms like this, like on YouTube, where they don't like this. They don't want their fans to have any intelligence at all. They just want to be mindless zombies to their product and not recognize what's going on. You know, not giving a crap about good storytelling. Great character development. Stuff like that. They don't want that. You're shunned from that. So that's something that they really need. I'm hoping that with this brand split, that's what I'm hoping we'll see. I'm hoping we'll see that same kind of, intense storylines, some realism to what's going on with the characters. Because now we're going to see a lot more people. Now we're going to see, we're going to see Zack Ryder more often. In that kind of way, you're going to have to force your hand to some of those guys that are not, or low mid card guys that we only see on Superstars or on Main Event. And now, not to mention how that's going to affect those shows right there. Of course, those are only on the internet, but for the most part, it's going to affect those shows in some way. So hopefully, like I said, this brand split does a better job. Hopefully we'll get better storylines. Hopefully Raw won't be so over-dominated. And with that being said, I'm wondering, it only makes me wonder if Raw is going to still be 3 hours, or if Raw is going to cut down and be only 2. Because that's not really fair. Of course, the Raw product majority of the show, especially the first hour, is nothing but advertisement. They cut into the middle of the matches. I think they only show the first match is usually probably no more than like 6 or 7 minutes long. Then they're going to break, and then if they haven't cut through that match, then they'll cut through the second one, and usually we won't hear about nothing. We won't have a promo for the main event or about the world heavyweight title until like almost in the second half of the second hour. So it's a little frustrating because sometimes I can't watch Raw, and I especially now don't watch it live. They're on the USA Network. I usually wait until it goes on Hulu because it gets you get about an hour and a half, 90-minute show, so it cuts out a lot of the stuff that's not really necessary, stuff like that. And I kind of wonder whatever I miss out, I usually go on YouTube to find it, to find segments, because besides watching on Hulu, I usually just catch stuff on YouTube, just a little synopsis of what happened on that show, and if it's worth watching, then I'll find it on one of those Korean websites that's out there right now that you can watch those, and they're like kind of like on demand, but you can watch them on pretty much anytime you want. So yeah, this I'm wondering how that's going to affect really when it comes to story, because like I said, I'm always about story and character development and how these superstars get from point A to point B. And I always mention this, that it is very important that these titles come into play. These titles are the show. Without seeing the titles, without seeing the champion, because to me, the champion, the person holding on to the title, you're the co-star, the star of the show, the person they want, the object or the person they want to see there on every show is the championship. The championships are the stars of the show. The wrestlers and women, or I was about to say divas, but women wrestlers or female superstars are just the co-stars. So I'm hoping we'll see that more often here as we go along here with the split. Now I believe the split will begin, I think, in July. So a lot of people are wondering how this is going to affect Money in the Bank. Will we have 2 Money in the Banks, or will we just have one? Not to mention, going back to the titles, how is this going to affect the titles? will we see it, have a title exclusively on SmackDown or exclusively on Raw, or will it be able to jump back and forth? With the brand split, that means, usually with the brand split, you have, John Cena only exclusively on Raw, or you have, Seth Rollins only on SmackDown. Will we see that? Or will we have superstars jump back and forth, and then we'll have maybe some of the mid-card guys stay on separate shows? Titles, again, like I said, will the women's title go back and forth? Because you may have divas on both shows, so will you have the women's champion be on both shows, or will it be only exclusive to one show? Same thing with the Intercontinental title, United States title, tag team titles. Right now, the tag team division is hot. It is red hot right now, and I hate to see them do a brand split like they're doing, and only having those titles exclusively only on Raw or only on SmackDown. What are the other tag teams going to be fighting for? Or will all the tag teams be on one brand with the title? I hate to see a split and having that title only exclusively on that show. Because honestly, back in the day, when they're doing that brand split, when they first did it, I enjoyed watching SmackDown a lot more. Even though it was taped, and at that, it was some of it, you had people out there leaking out or giving dirt sheets about what was going on. I still watched it, and I enjoyed it, especially with Paul Heyman being the head writer and head of talent, or not talent, help or assist, or I think he was like assistant talent agent or whatever. He helped out with developing the talent there, but also I think he was also head creative writer and the creative control and stuff like that. And the storylines he came up with were so much better than what was going on Raw. And Raw was considered the flagship show. And if you look back, go back and check out the Nielsen ratings for these. You will see that SmackDown by far had better ratings. Hands down, almost a better roster. With they had a few well-known, well-rounded superstars on there, but hands down, they could beat Raw. Just beat Raw week after week after week. And now of course they treat now SmackDown as a B-rated show, if that. It's pretty much just a review show, really. If you think about it, if you cut out a lot of the stuff, it's just basically a review show of everything that happened on Raw. Well, if I want that, I'll go back and watch Raw, on Hulu, or and that's something I really wish they would cut out. Keep some of that in there. If you're promoting, of course now they won't be able to do that. I hope they won't do that. If it's going to be a Raw, Raw exclusive or SmackDown exclusive show, and you're not going to have guys jumping back and forth between rosters, I don't need a review of Raw and on the SmackDown show. I already know what happened on Raw. I can go back and watch it. Especially nowadays we got, Hulu and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. I can go back and watch that. I don't want to go back and review everything that happened. Which, in a lot of ways it's repetitive and whatnot, but that's besides the point. But yeah, with this split right now, there's a lot of concerns. At that, who's going to run Raw? Who's going to run SmackDown? We don't know yet. We haven't heard anything yet from, I think storyline-wise, I think we'll start learning more about that here in the coming weeks. As we get closer and closer to Money in the Bank. And again, Money in the Bank. Are we going to have two Money in the Bank champions, or are we just going to have that one? And how's that one? One of the brands is going to get an upper hand. And of course, who the upper hand is going to go to. Is going to go to Raw. That's the flagship. So they got to do something extra special for SmackDown. Not to mention, Raw's 3 hours, SmackDown's 2 hours. They got to put a lot of into SmackDown to the way the two shows out, but having balance. So, excuse me. So a lot of this, like I said, has been. And some interviews I've been watching and some articles I've been reading online. Apparently, this Raw versus SmackDown split of the roster has been in talks for some time now, and they've now decided to pull the trigger here and go with it and see how it's going to all run and everything. So it's going to be very interesting to see how all that's going to work and whatnot. Again, it's I'm kind of happy about it, but at the same time, I'm kind of really worried about it right now because, to me, I think this is a desperate move, especially if this, you're doing this right in the middle of the year. Usually, this is the time of the year that WWE ratings-wise are not good because there's so much going on. You got you got Major League Baseball right now is really being heavily dominated, along with the NBA and, of course, the NHL with their hockey, with the Stanley Cup going on. You got golf. Tennis is heating up. So a lot of sporting events are going. Not to mention you got UFC, the big UFC fight, UFC 200 coming up here soon. So I think this is kind of a desperate move for WWE to try to draw in many people as possible. And I really truly hope that this brand split, this brand extension, draft thing they're doing again, I'm hoping it works out. And hopefully they have a good, strategy of all this, if this is going to work or not. So hopefully everything does work out. I like to see it. And like I said, I'm not a homer for WWE because right now, I think the product right now that's getting my attention right now, I need to watch more of it, is, with the exception of, and I haven't seen the promo yet, but I've heard a lot of people talk about it, is TNA. And, of course, the whole Hardy thing that's going on right now with that. There's been some mixed reviews about that. I've seen a lot of memes about it and whatnot, so I had to check it out to see what's going on. But for the most part, some of the matches I've kind of watched on TNA, that product's been getting better. It's getting better here. But Ring of Honor is definitely a hot product right now. I think a lot of people should watch it right now. You got Jay Lethal, who's had the title now almost a good year or more, and still is just killing it. Not to mention you got War Machine having a great time right now as the tag team titles are getting, they got a new enemy now. I can't think of the two guys. Are two big boys, and they got a good match here coming up here with their next pay-per-view coming up. I can't think of the name. Keith something and somebody, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting, really interesting how that's gonna turn out and whatnot. So anyway, kind of getting off track there. But yeah, the brand split. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you guys think it's going to work or not, or what are some good ideas for this brand split? Will we have to do, bring back some titles? Hardcore title, the European title. Actually, I was just seeing something about the. There's been two things been kind of rumored. The European title, it's been teased here a lot, and a lot of people are saying that they bring back the European Championship. It could go to there's two people that have been named, Cesaro and I believe Tyler Breeze. So what do you guys think about that? Would that be an interesting way to bring back the title? Have one of those two hold on to it. Also, there's a third one too. Another one was possibly a WWE Women's Tag Team title. Maybe exclusively on a brand, so one way to get the divas involved. If by chance the women's championship was exclusively on a, whatever brand, the opposite brand would still have a divas division, but it would be a tag team division. That's something to think about. And also, this summer, here on the they're on the WWE, I shouldn't say here on the WWE, right? They're on the WWE Network. There is going to be and I think that some of them they've already filmed already, but there's a Cruiserweight Invitational or a Classic or something. And apparently they're going to be bringing back the Cruiserweight title. So that would be really interesting. That's one of the titles I missed, and I kind of was really sad that they got rid of it. And with so many great high flyers out there and everything right now, I think it's something they need to bring back for those guys. I mean, guys like Sin Cara and Callisto and so many others out there. I think that's something they need to bring back. I think that's an important title, and especially another title for those low mid-card guys. Let's see. So we'll talk about. We can talk about the brand split a whole lot. I mean, so far I've spent 25 minutes just alone on that. We'll go ahead and talk about Extreme Rules. Extreme Rules pay-per-view was a pay-per-view that was, well, I was kind of not too happy about it. Yeah. Of course, Roman Reigns won the championship there at Extreme Rules. And, of course, defeated his opponent. But I think the only good thing that came out of it was the return of Seth Rollins. That was so freaking awesome. Now, I know I'm bearing the lead right there. But that was so great to see him back. And, honestly, it was kind of funny. I was, the morning of the Extreme Rules, I was in Central Missouri visiting a friend, or visiting family and friends, and I was actually staying at a friend's house during the whole trip there. And him and I were big wrestling fans, and I was telling him about my, what I'm doing right now, podcast and everything, and I mentioned on the last episode that he's supposed to be on it, and we were going to talk about wrestling and whatnot. Maybe we can get his son on here, and that's something in the future we may end up doing here, because his son's really interested in doing stuff on YouTube and everything, and I was kind of getting him some pointers and some people to he can talk to more about this that I'm friends with that help me out. But yeah, one of the things I was reading on there that morning about the pay-per-view and everything, and it was kind of a rumor, but there was a rumor saying Seth Rollins tweeted this cryptic message about something along the lines of, Roman Reigns, you've had the title for X amount of days, you better hope you can keep your title here against AJ Styles, he went on to say something that was really kind of cryptic. And at first, it didn't bother me. But then, throughout the day, I kept repeating that in my head what he was saying. I'm like, okay, this is really weird. Like, we have not heard anything from Seth Rollins. He's supposed to be out for almost a year. And he comes back in, 7 or 8 months? Well, not even really that. I mean, I was almost say 6 months or so. And I'm thinking, and I told my buddy, I was like, Eric, I was like, I have a funny feeling. I have a funny feeling that Seth Rollins is coming back. And he kind of just laughed at me. He's like, oh, there's no way he'll come back. Rashad, he had that knee injury. He's going to be out he's going to stay out for quite a while. And I was like, nah. I told him, I was like, I have this weird feeling because I said he left a cryptic message on Facebook or on Twitter to Roman Reigns, and it's like, it was really like, I have this feeling. So we're sitting there watching the pay-per-view and everything, and we're somewhat entertained by it and whatnot. And next thing you know, here comes he comes out of nowhere. And I told my buddy, I'm like, I told you he's showing up. I told you. I said, I had that feeling. I knew he was going to show up. And yeah, I couldn't believe, but this, what he was saying was just so weird. I'm thinking, like, no, he's going to show up tonight. He's going to screw over Roman Reigns. And I think that's going to be the most awesome thing for this whole pay-per-view. And it was good to see Seth back, and I'm glad he's back here. His knee, they say, is not not totally 100%. I think they said it's probably about 85%. But he's willing to go and he's ready to go, and I think that's awesome. I'd rather see him at 100%, but if he's confident and come back at 85% for his on his knee, I think he should go for it. So it's good to see him back. Of course, that was the next thing we were going to talk about is his return. But we'll talk about we got big cast confirming the Dudley Boys there. Eventually now, of course, now Enzo's back. He's made his return. Just the night after the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, he made his return, and I think there's going to be a big matchup between those here coming up. I believe at Money in the Bank. By far, that should be the next. The Dudley Boys are such a great tag team to do something like that, to get because I think, at least I know in the past, they've always handpicked who they want to face, who they think the guys that could really do a good job of managing the tag team division, making it hot, making it something fun and exciting. I think they picked a good team to help make them look good, at the same time giving their making them look good, because they're older guys and whatnot, and they can't really move around like they used to. Because if you tell some of these matches, those guys are like, "Oh, this really hurts now," compared to what they did back in the day. But even so, they're good. They're also great guys that love to get the next generation of tag team or superstars, and get them over and give them the that extra oomph to be in more high profile matches and tag team matches and title matches. So I think that's really cool. Big ups to the Dudley Boys. We got Baron Corbin defeating Dolph Ziggler. This storyline, I don't know where it's going to go to, because I think now this is twice now that well, actually it was a no disqualification match. Baron Corbin won it, but I think Corbin's now beat Dolph Ziggler now twice. I think the pay-per-view before, at Payback, he won it, and then he won this one. So I don't know where this is going. I almost feel, of course, Dolph, he's in that limbo of, we don't know what to do with you. He's taking all these bumps, which freaks me out a lot of times. I'm like, this guy's, he's going to end up killing himself. But yeah, and then of course Baron Corbin, he's just one of those awkward guys that you don't know where to do with him, because NXT, for a while there, I thought he should have had a better push for the title, to at least get the title at once before he got the call up, and I still kind of feel that way. I think he needs to go back and try to be the NXT champion again. But he can. I guess they can always bring him back, but. If you're bringing him up to the main roster, obviously you see something and you need to do something with him. Because if you're calling these guys up, you need to do something with them. Don't just call them up and don't do anything like they're doing right now with Tyler Breeze. The whole Breeze Dongo thing. I'm just kind of like, yawn. This is not, I like how they brought him up against Dolph. And really true, I think they should have those two to me personally, I think those two should. I think Dolph should turn heel, and him and Tyler Breeze should be kind of a pretty boy faction, to really, Tyler Breeze is all about not liking uggos and all that kind of stuff, and I think that's something that I think they need to try to pull Dolph into that and kind of have those two springboard off each other and stuff like that. I think they'd be a better look and better fit. Let's go ahead and move on. We got Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson going head-to-head with the Usos in a tag team tornado. Of course, the Gallows and Anderson won that match, beat the Usos in that tornado tag team. Match was alright. Could have been a little bit better. We got the WWE Tag Team Champions, The New Day, going against the Von Villains. Of course, the Von Villains did not win that match, as the New Day won that one, got the best of that team. And again, to me, the Von Villains are a good team. I think it was a good pairing of the two teams. And I hope we see the Von Villains a little bit more when it comes to the tag team match. With tag team, especially with the way that the New Day is right now, they're a hot team right now. People love them. The fans are just ecstatic about seeing them and get excited. There is going to be a point where fans are going to be annoyed by them, even if they are they are the face. I think a lot of teams are going to get annoyed by them, and just get rid of the titles. Just take the titles off of them, and just let's do something else with this. With the titles and with them. And I feel the same way about I think Charlotte. She's in the same place right now because a lot of people. I love the way how they got her dad broken up. They broke up those two, and of course a lot of people are saying they did that because Ric Flair's dealing with some behind the scenes type stuff. He got, if you remember back at WrestleMania, I think it was the night before or whatever. He got in a little scuffle with a TSA agent there in Boston, and I don't know if he got some legal issues that are going on, but for right now they've written him out of the story with Charlotte right now. So Charlotte, Charlotte's gonna be on her own right now, because she's been tested now by everyone in the company, and now she's got to try to see if she can actually win this title and retain this title on her own, or will she just was her dad? Will she realize her dad was the key thing to her success and try to bring him back? So she's dealing with that with Natalya. Of course, they had a submission match, and Charlotte won that match, and of course proved to her dad that, hey, I don't need you. I won that title by myself, or at least I won that match by myself, so I don't need you anymore, and kicked him to the curb. And I think that was a great way of kind of writing out Rick out and leaving it open to bring him back in whenever at some point bring him back in. Maybe she starts going on a losing streak, and she realized that overall she does need her dad and whatnot, and that's the way we can bring back Rick in. Let's go to the United States champion Kalisto loses his title against Rusev. Okay, of course we knew that was going to happen. So Rusev now is a two-time WWE United States champion. He's going to hold on to the title probably for a while now. I don't know anyone who would want to challenge him. Of course, right now, a lot of people that were excited about seeing Titus O'Neil. Of course, a lot of people are saying that the only reason they're doing this to Titus O'Neil because of the miscommunication that him and Mr. McMahon had back, a couple months ago when Titus kind of held Mr. McMahon off to, held him up, and he was being respectful. He's being a gentleman, letting the lady go first, and then kind of Mr. McMahon kind of took that out of being Mr. McMahon and suspended him for 90 days, which was reduced down to a month, down to 60 days. But yeah, I mean, I think this is their way of saying, okay, we're Titus, maybe that suspension was going too far, and so we're going to go ahead and have you a chance to go for a singles title now, because he's a former tag team champion. But let's go after the title and do something with Rusev. Of course, now you got his former tag team partner Darren Young doing this whole life coach thing. You got Bob Backlund backing him as his life coach and trying to restart his career. But for a person that calls himself Mr. No Days Off, he sure is taking a lot of days off. So we haven't seen him as much, and the promos are pretty cool. I just don't know where I don't know how I don't see how this is gonna work out or what the deal is gonna be. But hopefully it gets turned around, and if it doesn't, primetime players will come back together again. So. Let's keep rolling on. We got The Miz defeating Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Kevin Owens in that Intercontinental Championship match. By far, I think that was probably the best match of the night, with the exception of the women's match in there. But yeah, by far that was a good match. Really thought that it was going to be Sami Zayn's night. My buddy Eric was like, "Oh, it's going to be Cesaro. This is Cesaro's night. He's worked his butt off and he's done all this and that and everything." I'm like, I don't know. Cesaro's had a lot of opportunities. It's kind of like, kind of not really rooting for him to be the so-called champion, because they've just he's had so many opportunities that he just hasn't happened yet. So hopefully that won't be the case for Sami Zayn. But yeah, we'll have to see here in the next couple of pay-per-views here and see how that's going to go. Of course, eventually if he's not in the picture for the Intercontinental Championship, of course him and Kevin Owens will be in a grudge match throughout the summer. I'm hoping it will be for the Intercontinental Championship, but I hate to hold my breath for that, because right now I think Cesaro may be the guy that may take the title off of The Miz, and those two, of course, will go back at it, back and forth. But I would love to see Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens go after the Intercontinental title. So hopefully Sami can get it, because the guy's had a rough break. During NXT he had the title, and then of course Kevin comes in and takes his pretty almost takes his career from him and gets him hurt, and then he ends up out for so many months, and then even before that he got a call up right after Kevin did to the main roster, and had that injury there on his shoulder. And he finished the match with John Cena, which was awesome. They're at home, they're live in Montreal, but ended up injured, and he was out for a couple months, and finally made his return back in December this past year, and had that great match there at NXT London, and and then finally recently just got his call up, and so yeah, it's been pretty fun. He definitely had a good WrestleMania moment with him and Kevin, and I think I really think it's his time, but at the same time I think Cesaro's been waiting even longer, so we'll have to see how that goes here, especially as we get closer to Money in the Bank, because we got that Money in the Bank match, and we'll talk about more of that here in just a bit. But what else? Then you got Roman Reigns finally in the main event, winning the match against AJ Styles. A good build-up towards the end there. Good build-up, good back and forth, and a lot of good pinfalls, and really doing a good job of just getting the fans hyped and everything, and then just of course the ending was even better, as the architect returns. He says he's been rebuilt, everything. He's now won his damn title back. He wants the title that he did not lose, and he's correct. He did not lose that title at all. It was taken from him, and he definitely showed up that night at Extreme Rules, ready to go. So we'll have to see what he can do here at the next pay-per-view, which is Money in the Bank. Be coming up here in 2 weeks here, and it's they already got that on the card. Of course, that will be the main event that night, as Money in the Bank will. It's really one of my favorites of the year, especially because of the Money in the Bank match, and especially this year with AJ Styles and then John Cena going to be a part of that. They're going to be going head-to-head, one-on-one, in a dream match between these two. The only time you've seen this matchup is in video games. So we'll see this matchup here, as those two will go head-to-head in that high-stakes match. And of course, you got the Money in the Bank match. You got Alberto Del Rio, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Dean Ambrose and Jericho, of course, who created the Money in the Bank match. And then finally, you got a 7th member. They have not announced that yet. I think it'll probably be announced on the next Raw or SmackDown here coming up. So yeah, we'll see how that goes here coming up, and hopefully we'll find out who it is. And honestly, I can't think of who would be good in that spot, because right now, looking at that right now, I mean, you pretty much got the guys that you need. Something's weird about having 7 guys in that ring. Just does not look right. Just, I don't know. Maybe it's just me being weird and I like even numbers, but I don't know. It just to me I think these 6 are just fine. But again, I don't know who you would put in that that next spot. I mean, I don't know. I was really thinking it was going to be John Cena. Maybe that's going to be his return, and try to get back to the top. But we've seen him do it, and of course, he uses Money in the Bank, not in the way you would want it, or at least in the way it's been used. He told his opponent that he was going to use it in the next week or whatever, and it was like, okay, John, that's how John is, so we'll go along with it. Yeah. But yeah, those are the matches so far. Of course, there will be more coming up. We'll eventually see an Intercontinental title. It'll be Miz against somebody, maybe. Maybe even the Miz will be in that spot, that 7th spot. I don't know. I mean, that might be actually a good one, because he is a former Money in the Bank winner, and so we'll see about that. I think hopefully this will be Chris Jericho's year to win it. I mean, he's the one that got it cooked up and created it backstage and whatnot. Hopefully he'll be it, because he was in the first one, and we'll see if he can get in this one. Because I wouldn't mind seeing Jericho be champion again. He's fun being a champion, either heel or face. So usually it's been face, or heel, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, so enough with we already talked about Money in the Bank. Talk about a little bit about John Cena. Cena is back, and he's ready for action here as he made a return. He was supposed to be returning back to the WWE. He got injured back late last year, and we'll see. Of course, he was supposed to be 9 months. I believe he comes back in 7 months, and he's ready to go. So, and of course, he is the target by the Club, who just made their recent reunion and are ready to take the WWE by storm. It was really cool how they set it up. Of course, AJ Styles and his buddies were kind of on the outs there, because AJ didn't want their help to defeat Roman Reigns to get the title, and so you've seen them. If you remember back at SmackDown, he told them that he didn't need them, he didn't want them involved. He wanted to win the WWE Championship on his own merit, and of course, they came in during the match, messed with Roman Reigns. He had many opportunities you've seen there to put Reigns away, but it just wasn't the deal. Of course, he tried to do his phenomenal forearm, and he got caught with a spear and got speared in the canvas and got pinned 1, 2, 3. Well, we go the next night there on Monday Night Raw. The next night, we see that he's out there. John Cena's out there making his return. Talks about how he wants to try to get back in the top spot. He's glad to be back. Of course, a lot of people saying they're not ready to see him. He makes a joke about it. And then next thing you know, here comes AJ Styles. AJ Styles comes out, talks about about how John Cena made a return, how awesome it is to see him and John Cena in the same ring together, and would love to have some kind of matchup at some point in their career. And then all of a sudden, the music, you cue the music, here comes the rest, or here comes Gallows and Anderson. They, say some words to AJ and John, and next thing you know it, AJ turns. AJ turns as a heel. Him and the rest of the members of the club come out, and they finish John Cena and just stomp a mud hole in him and put him away. Well, then, of course, I believe it's AJ Styles that made a video. It was posted on the WWE YouTube channel, basically challenging John Cena to a match at Money in the Bank. And, John Cena, he doesn't back away from fights. He's like, okay, if you want to fight, I'll meet you there. So it is now official that John Cena and AJ Styles will meet one-on-one here in 2 weeks here at Money in the Bank. It'll be the first time these two have ever locked horns in the ring. Of course, John Cena being the face of WWE, going against the face of TNA. So this is definitely a dream match that a lot of people, like myself, have been waiting for here for some time, and are glad to see this happen. So you got TNA, you got TNA, the face of TNA, AJ Styles, the owner of TNA being Jeff Jarrett, going against the face of the WWE, John Cena, the owner, Vince McMahon. And if you know anything about the history between Vince McMahon and Jeff Jarrett, they don't like each other at all. There's been so many rumors, so many years now that since especially when TNA was looked like they were going to go under. Sound like a lot of people say, oh, Vince is gonna he's gonna buy up that product because he wants to be the main product in the U.S. He wants to be the organization that if you want to wrestle, you have to go through him. And of course that was always say so and everything. Of course there were so many investors that came in, especially Dixie Carter. Now you got the lead. Billy Corbin of the Smashing Pumpkins. Now he's a big investor of that product. Now, not to mention he's on the product right now. He's been in a couple promos and stuff like that. I forgot who he's with right now. He's with, I can't think of what superstar, but he's involved in it, which is, I think, it's pretty cool. But he is actually a owner of TNA. Of course, you got Jeff Jarrett teaming up with TNA because he is technically still part owner of TNA, but he has his own wrestling organization he has, which is Global Force Wrestling. Those two are swapping talent, and also at times you'll see Global Force on Impact. They had this big tournament. I think there's a tournament going on or something, or it has been going on or whatever. But it's with TNA, Ring of Honor, I think Global Force, and I think New Japan and AAA Wrestling, and they're all using each other's talent back and forth. Like I said, it's really cool what's going on in TNA right now and all the other companies. But this matchup between John Cena and AJ Styles is definitely a dream match that wrestling fans like myself that have been following, especially TNA guys like AJ Styles when he was in TNA from the very beginning. Even before that, when he was with Ring of Honor, or he was doing both at the same time. So awesome to see these two big names go head-to-head at a pay-per-view. And to finish off here today, we're going to take a look at the next thing, which is coming up this Wednesday on the network. It is NXT The End, or I should say NXT Takeover The End. It is the pay-per-view. It's coming up this Wednesday. You got the main event, Finn Balor going against the new NXT champion, being Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe won the NXT title at a live event just a couple of weeks ago. I want to say about a week and a half ago, maybe. And now he is the champion. There at that pay-per-view, or at the down there in Florida. Moving on, we got that big match. It's actually going to be the first ever steel cage match for the NXT title, so it should be a good one. Speaking of that, there's actually the videos for the predictions for that live event here on the channel. Those will be out all day on, I believe, starting at noon on Wednesday here on ESGNet. So check those out. The pay-per-view is, I believe, that same night on Wednesday night at 7, just regular time, just like when NXT comes on. And I believe it's a 2-hour live event. We also got NXT, the women's champion, Alexa, going against Nia Jax. This one going to be very interesting to see here. This is now Nia Jax's second or third time going for the title. I believe she went against Bayley twice, and she lost, and then now she's going against Alexa the first time. Now these two are matched up for a championship, and we'll see them in action there on NXT. Also, too, you got the tag team division right now is very hot in NXT. You got NXT's champions, the American Alphas, Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, going against my favorite team right now down there, especially in NXT. I love these guys. These are type of tag team. This is the type of tag team I love to see come back and really doing a good job. And their name says it all. The Revival. They are reviving tag team wrestling right now, and these are some redneck boys that can scrap. I love it. So the Revival, you got Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder right there. How redneck can you be with those names? But great character development and everything. I love it. They're going to be going for their tag team for those tag team titles. If they win these titles, they'll be the first ever 2-time NXT tag team champions, and I think that's something that needs to be done. No one's done it yet. I really thought the team that could do it, I still say they can do it, and that's Blake Murphy or Blake and Murphy, I should say. Blake and Murphy can do it, but right now doesn't look like it's gonna last for too long, because they look like they might be going solo here. As I believe, I can't think of her name now. She pretty much said she's done with them. Alexa Bliss, she says she's done with them, and she's starting her solo career as a solo wrestler. So she's going to be going for the NXT women's title. But Blake and Murphy, it's looking kind of grim for them, and they got to get something going here. I hate to see those two, break up as a tag team, but hopefully, what they're doing down there in NXT, hopefully they got something for them, and when it comes to their careers there. You got Nakamura going against. You got the King of Strong Style going against the greatest man that has ever lived, Nakamura, going against Austin Aries. It's gonna be a good match. I'm definitely gonna say that is probably. I can't, because honestly, all 4 of these matches are gonna be great. But I say this would probably be my top 2. I think the other match I'm looking very forward to. I would have to say it'd be the tag team match. Really, I think because I've seen enough Joe and Finn Balor matches and whatnot, which I think that for me as a fan that watches, that have seen them in the past to face each other and what they've done, you know, I mean, I can say I've seen it, you know, done it, seen it, lived it, whatever, move on. But yeah, the other, you know, the Revival and the tag team, you know, the tag team match with the Revival, and you got the American Alphas, the current champions right now. I think that's going to be a really good tag team. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of excitement, and I think just high pace, high action. I think it's going to be a really good job for both those tag teams to be in that kind of situation. But Nakamura and Austin Aries, so I definitely say that's a match I can't wait to see, because I don't think these two have ever faced each other before. So this is going to be definitely going to be a first. Nothing I can remember, but this is definitely going to be a first for both. And I just hope Austin Aries gets a call up here soon. I don't know if he's going to get the the Kevin Owens treatment, where he's, you know, going to eventually get the title and then move on, or if he's going to be down here forever, and then or I should say, the Finn Balor treatment. Keep him, you know, he's going to work. They're going to work his way into, you know, maybe it takes him about 4 or 5 months to get the title, and then he's going to hold on to the title for 4 or 5 months, and then finally ship him off to the main roster. Hopefully he'll get the Kevin Owens treatment, where he can win the title here within a month, and then hold on to the title for about 2 months, and then, you know, go to the main roster and be a part of that, and especially make a big impact in that main roster. Especially with, I'd love to see this. This is one I want to see here soon. Of course, I think that we have to rename their tag team, but I would love to see him, Austin Aries, who I'm talking about, and Bobby Roode. I know people are, that tag team wasn't great, but that tag team was good. They were good at being a-holes to one another, but still win matches. I just love that with those two, and I'm hoping that, because we haven't heard anything from Bobby Roode. As far as I know, I think he did sign with WWE, but I don't know what kind of capacity. I don't know if he is like kind of just a trial basis, like his former tag team partner James Storm was, where he was in a couple matches there in WWE, and he was kind of working out some things with TNA before TNA finally gave him a deal, and then he went back to TNA. I don't know if they're doing that with Bobby, but hopefully we'll get to see him here on NXT or on the main roster here soon. But you know, it just depends on me. It has to be the right timing. It has to be, you know, everything set up. It has to be a good spot for him to insert him into a storyline or to, you know, some kind of tag or some kind of matchup with someone. And then you got Ty Dillinger, the Perfect 10, going against this new guy they've been promoting. Adren Sin Almas. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. I probably butchered it. But they've been promoting him. I've actually seen some footage of him in some matches, and he's a bit of a luchador. He did have he does wear a mask, but I think here in the WWE, I don't think he's wearing a mask. But yeah, he is a awesome luchador, and I don't know what it is, but I think Ty Dillinger is now the new, the new welcome committee for TNA or for NXT, because I feel like they're giving him the same treatment as CJ Parker. He has to be the first guy to meet the newbie, and of course he's gonna lose. So I don't know if Ty Dillinger is that guy, but I would hate to be that guy. I'm like, seriously, you guys, like, you're setting me up again with another, big name that's going to be bigger than me, and I've been here for how long? So, poor Ty Dillinger, he's got to go against the new guy again. The next new guy. Because, he just recently faced off against Austin Aries when Aries made his debut, so, poor guy. I think he may have to go back and read his contract with WWE about that. So, But yeah, that is the matches for that pay-per-view coming up on Wednesday. So definitely go check it out on the network. All right, so a quick talk right now of the the channel. I'm just going to talk about just real briefly here, and then I'm going to let you guys go. But yeah, coming up, like I said, I've been busy trying to get back in the groove of things, trying to get videos ready for you guys. Also, trying to work on some other projects I'm working on with some other friends that do YouTube. And what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to play enough stuff for the week, and then I'm trying my best to put up a video a day. Now, I'm not for sure if there's going to be a video up. Well, there should be a few videos up this week because I've already got quite a few done. Like I already mentioned the NXT videos that are up. They'll be released here on Wednesday. There's a couple baseball videos coming up that should be on the channel right now already that will be released. I believe one of the first ones, I think it's on Tuesday. And like I said, I don't know when this is going up, but it eventually will be up. It should be up before Wednesday, so I'm hoping Monday morning, as I'm recording this on Sunday night. Late Sunday night, early Monday morning. So this should be up in the morning here on Monday or Monday afternoon. But besides that, I'm going to be working on some football. I got 3 episodes of the Green Bay Packers franchise. Got another one on the way. Those should be up for this week. Not to mention, I got Theo Bonds now. He's now transferred over to the PS4, the MLB 16, the show game from 15 from last year. He's ported over, so now everybody's ported over. Not to mention, I'm in the process of trying to get a new character going, and I think I mentioned too that we're going to try to do some live streams here in the morning. I have not set a date yet for that. But I know for sure it will happen here within 2 weeks. I really want to do it the week when my roommate is gone. He'll be leaving to go out of town for a week, so I think that'll be the perfect time I can do it because it won't be as rowdy and noisy. And then from there, it'll just be I think I'm going to try to live stream at least twice a day there in that week. And then from there on, we'll try to do something maybe on Saturdays or first thing in the morning on certain mornings, or maybe a daily thing. Just depends on how everything works out and when I have the time available to do it. Because right now, we're both busy. I think it's pretty loud around here, and I don't really get a chance to do my voiceover as much as I want to, but I do have quite a few videos ready to go here. Just gotta find the time to do the voiceovers and try to get those done and get those out to you guys. So, like I said, there'll be another update video. I'll explain a little bit more about it and what I'm trying to do here for the channel. But yeah, there will be several videos coming up this week. Matter of fact, I think sometime by the end of the week we should have 3 to 6 videos for. I'm gonna try to finish up the 2K showcase. They're on WWE 2K16, the Austin 316 showcase, and then eventually we'll get started into the other showcase, which showcases like some matches and stuff like that, of some historic matches and stuff like that, some dream matches. So yeah, we'll get into that as we move along throughout the week and whatnot. So this week, yeah, stay tuned for some videos. Like I said, we'll have an actual update video here later on in the week. So that being said, thank you guys so much as we got done with episode 7. Next week, I don't know what I'm going to be talking about. Just depends on what's going to go on in the world of sports. But yeah, if you guys got an idea what you guys want me to talk about, We can I'll sit down and do some research and talk about it. If there's something going on in sports you guys want me to talk about, and just be on my soapbox about it for that whole hour, trust me, I can do it. I can do it. But like I said, we'll even try to do an actual live stream of this show, so you guys can interact with me, or I can interact with you guys, and you guys can ask me questions, and I can give you guys my honest opinion about superstar, WWE superstars, players, whatever in sports. So that is it for me, you guys. The hour is definitely running over here. We're now, hour 10 now into this. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you've been watching this the whole hour, 10 minutes, thank you. I very much appreciate it. If you have not, well, you missed out. So that's on you. But thank you guys so much for watching, or for, I should say, listening. And that is it for this episode for ESGNet presents Sports Gamers Soapbox Talk podcast. This is episode 7, and we'll come back with episode 8 for something. But we'll see you guys next time. If you guys enjoyed the podcast, leave a like. Also, don't forget to hit that subscription button for more of the podcast. Also, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. The links are down below in the description. And to get the latest news on videos, podcasts, everything else that we have here on the channel, you guys can get all the information and news from those places. We'll post that stuff on there. So thank you guys so much, and as always, keep yourselves healthy, and I will see you guys next time.